Infinity Edge now.
I mean,
that really was winning in that fight.
Is there? Are you making up sort of like a lost traction if you're down on champion kills by getting the dragon? I mean, is there equalizing that's happening right there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of a top player meme called the comeback dragon. We're like, oh, we lost, but they have to heal, so we're gonna go do dragon real quick. Like, one of the main things that happens is you win a fight, but you get really low, so everyone recalls the base, heals, and shops, which gives up map control for a good minute and a half. And comeback dragon is a very real thing where dudes are like, ah, dragon's available, let's go. And it works out actually quite well for them. So then there's also snowball dragon where you just have map control, you just keep killing dragon to win the game. But yeah, there are a lot of comeback mechanics. Also, you know, when you're behind, oh, another Dark Bunny on a Dan Din. Oh, Excessive tanks the arrow form, but here we go, a lot of fights going on. Silence on Morgana is going to be pretty huge. And there's another Nunu ultimate with no stuns available. Elements dropping that Zonia's ring. Araki goes down, and will they kill Elements? Yes, they will. There's the fighting going on. Kobe in front takes some damage, but the Morgana about to kill everyone, but she drops before she gets stunned. Dan Din going to drop down to the Ash. And yes, does indeed get dropped down, but that is 3 kills to 2. Epic doing quite well. And Sauce is amazingly crushing this game. He's doing so well this game. He's up to some ridiculous score. He's up to, 6, 2, and 7. He's been there for almost every kill. He's gotten credit for most of them. And he is doing amazing jobs right here. Sauce is really carrying their game. Now, Dan's doing some good damage, but he's the first target every time. So Dan, you know, puts out some damage, shoots out people with the Infinity Edge, but then he gets killed. And Sauce is like, nah, dog, I got this. I'm Vladimir. And does some really good stuff. So, and despite all that, though, this Ashe with double buff is really huge. This Ashe is super, super beastly. Has Infinity Edge, has Last Whisper, has Brutalizer. And these are like the holy trinity of I will freaking own you items. These are like the items you want to get on a carry. Forget everything else. These are the items you want. So she hits hard. 234 a hit, you know, over 1.7 attack speed, which is huge. Hitting almost twice a second for 240 damage. Critical is about half those shots. And it's just like so much damage output goes on. So both players are acutely aware. Uh-oh, Excessive taking some damage from Ashe and Needly. Gonna back off for now. Gonna be okay. Needly dropping a trap down there. She's gonna reveal Excessive some more. But again, you know, both teams had to regroup. They couldn't do Baron themselves because they had like, you know, 2 to 3 standing members. But you know, both teams got all 5 back at the same time. So both players were like, nah, I know what you're up to. And so they've been kind of grouping up and they've been preparing for this objective. You can see just everyone crowding around this. This is really huge. This pretty much this team fight and Baron will probably decide this game.
Okay.
It's very, very likely.
Now, if let's say Epic gets it down, and then you've got CLG on the backside firing, they get the final hit. Like, how is credit awarded for that?
Okay, so credit is only awarded by final hit. So there were a lot of games. There's actually the last tournament back in open beta. Was actually basically decided by some dude who's chilling behind this ridge as Annie and just dropped Tibbers and managed to steal it twice and like won the game because of that. And it was really, really awesome because it was blind, like no war, just like now, and like won the game for them, which was really, really hot. And so right now, they're getting ready. So yeah, the players have grouped up. There's the Clairvoyant, so they do know where Epic Gaming ran to. Hawkshot as well coming out, doing a lot of revealing. And so both players kind of know what's up. Yeah, so Vladimir's pushing himself towards the top. Vladimir is very good at escaping from fights, but here we go. This is going to be a little bit scary. He's going to back off. Cyan's going to try to pressure him with a stun, but won't go for it. And yeah, so the teams have grouped up. They're being a little bit scared because they do know that whoever loses is going to lose Baron and probably the game. So both teams are being very, very careful about this right now. So they're doing as many cute maneuvers as they can. Ooh, nice job. Needly pops that spear out of the brush and gets rid of Araki's Banshee's Veil. And that is a big deal. Toss another spear down, doesn't land it this time. But Needly has a lot of ability power. This Rage Blade is fully 8 stack, 248 ability power. Those spears are going to hit like a truck. So they've got to be very careful. Oh, another spear going off down, hitting Excessive. But Excessive is the tanky member of that team, so it's not really a big deal that he's taking those shots. But this is going to come to a head pretty soon. Players now grouped up towards middle. Epic feels a little bit more comfortable fighting towards middle, trying to get the enemies out of position. Oh, there's a stun onto Sauce. Sauce will take it. He doesn't care too much. Has a lot of ability power, has a lot of magic resist as well. 182 magic resist. That is really, 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 really heavy. So he's not going to die to spells really anytime soon. Ashe is really only threat. And, well, Ashe is really farm, so that is a big deal. But really, the only character that really have to worry about is Big Fat Gigi's Ashe. And she is super fun. Uh-oh, gets caught by John a little bit. Picks a Zephyr, but it's going to be okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, Nunu is out of position. There's the ultimate. Will not get stunned. Will get the entire ultimate off and does do some crazy damage, but gets dropped down. But there's Vladimir and Garen up at the top, trying to chase down Morgana and Needly. And yes, indeed, Mumu is getting dropped down by Garen. They will not quite kill him. No. Down to the bottom. Oh, and Big Fat Gigi has gotten that kill. Elements with the shield up, fighting Graphic, and Graphic not quite winning that fight. Elements just constantly getting life. There we go. Sauce showing up and finally picks up that kill. But that fight went to CLG. I'm pretty sure. I mean, 2 kills each, but I mean, they killed the really big important targets, Nunu and Dan Din. So that was really, really good stuff. And basically the carries were just alive the entire time for CLG. They lost Morgana and Sign, and really you can give those up and not care. Neither of them are really getting many kills, so they're worth less and less gold. So if you get a killing spree, you're doing really well and getting a lot of damage, and that's awesome, but you're worth a lot of gold. If you're dying a lot, you're actually worth less gold, so it's going better for if you die. You just don't really care at that point. And so it's good to have the players sort of shift the kills to the right places and do what they can. And so right now, the low impact characters are the ones dying, and so that's awesome for CLG. They're perfectly happy with that. So again, more map control going off here on Mumu, tanking this Blizzard, probably gonna give it to GG. And it's just funny watching how far Big Fat GG is getting. He's up to a Guardian Angel now, which means that when he dies, he'll just revive again, like no big problem. And ooh, here we go, important stuff going on. Now, I won't quite cast it out loud in case they can't hear me, but people do know what's going on. Uh-oh, Kobe running out. Oh, okay, Arwagi sees Kobe. They do know Baron's being focused, and they're going to have to back out for now, actually. Hotshot's still hitting it. And yes, okay, they have actually returned, but Salsa is here. And everyone's got to be a little bit careful. Looks like Epic will back off. A ward goes down. They will try to kill it. Yeah, Needly will just trap that and kill that ward off. It's going to reveal that ward. And yeah, that gets dropped down. So nice try warding that by Epic, but nothing really gained there. Darren Nash are now regenerating back up. You're not allowed to poke him down. You actually have to dedicate yourself to killing him. But the players are grouping up. Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you really have to wait to commit to the Baron, because if you get caught out of position, it's coming on the flank, there's not much place for anyone to go. And that's why we're seeing really tiptoe around that area. Not committing.
Absolutely. They're really tiptoeing around it because a lot of it is also that this game is worth so much. If you lose this game, you're pretty much out for Epic, and CLG doesn't want to lose one and then be put in that same situation. So they're being very, very careful, more so than they normally would, just because of the circumstances. But they have revealed each other. They do know what's going on. Clairvoyance and Hawkshot doing very good work for CLG. They have such good revealing because of that. It's really, really good for them to have that kind of those kind of situations. But ooh. A little bit of funny stuff going on. Poked at Baron, not too much going on yet. But both teams would have to be very, very careful about their positioning. But yeah, I mean, basically GG, Hawkshot GG is getting so, Big Fat GG getting just so incredibly farmed. I mean, he's got 3 high tier damage items. He's got the Guardian Angel, so that when he dies, he doesn't really die. Here we go. Arwagi jumping in the front, does slow down Ash. Mumu's in the middle, and there's the ultimate, and gets it canceled out a little bit early on. But here we go. Sion in the front jumps onto Dan Din. Dan Din takes some damage. Doesn't see Mumu ultimate. Element's getting forced to pop his Zonias. But he will get dropped down this time. Dan's going to show back up. Arwagi putting on the snowballs. Will they kill Elements? Excessive kills Big Fat GG through the Guardian Angel. Amazing job by Excessive, just doing so much damage there. They have picked off that Sion. Very good job by Epic. Excessive getting pushed back. Dan Din jumping on top of Morgana and does get the kill. They will try to get a Mumu as well. Now Needly getting away this time, but a Mumu is up in the middle of everything. Gets the exhaust of the base. Does get dropped down. Needly putting some damage onto this Tristana, but Tristana has so much lifesteal with the Stark's Fervor. That is 4 kills for 1 death, which is freaking huge. They finally killed Salse, but Salse was not the guy to kill. Salse is freaking tanky. I don't know why they killed him first, but oh man. There we go. Dan jumping up in front, and he is going for Baron. This is going to be precarious. Now, Hotshot does know what's up. He does see this. He could potentially steal it with a spear, so we're going to see what happens. Graphic trying to get behind the Baron. Very good play. He's going to get behind the Baron, try to tank that spear shot. They don't know where Hotshot is, so it could potentially just be a steal from the Fog of War. And basically, the two teams do know both of them. Oh, and he goes for it. Cannot quite get it. Very good job. That Nunu actually saved Consume and Smite to make sure he could last hit that, which is really, really good stuff. He saved an ability called Consume, which just hits a single target for hefty, hefty damage. And Smite is just a single target minion-oriented nuke. So he's like, it's not 1,000 health, mine. And just grabs that. So now both teams have gotten a Baron. This game going on to the 45-minute mark. Both teams getting a Baron kill. This is looking very good for Epic Gaming now. And yeah, so Sauce is pushing some stuff. We should really force a team fight, and we'll get it. Like we're in really, really heavy advantage. Dan is now super farmed with Stark's Fervor. We're super far ahead. Let's make this happen. So both teams trying to get these objectives before the next fight. Baron obviously really big for Epic, but Golem buff getting picked up for Hotshot. That's really big. Lizard is down. Yeah, so Golem buff picked up for Nunu as well. So everyone's just picking up their main objectives, getting these neutral buffs around the map, and it's going to be time for Dragon once more. When both teams feel ready.
Talk to me a little bit about the late game at this point. All the champions have reached max level or almost there, etc. If you get the Baron, what can an opposing team do to try to swing things back in their favor? At that point, does it come down to individual skills and then how you're going to use those together as a team?
Yeah, the most important thing right now is going to be positioning. Everyone has their item builds. They're more or less equivalent. Everyone has, their key items ready. Everyone has, their key ultimates, level 3 or this point for the most part. And so everyone sort of is going to be like, kind of knows that each team fight could decide the game. If you win it overwhelmingly, you get Baron. If you win it overwhelmingly, at this point, you probably just push through mid and end the game.
Okay.
And so the Baron buff is more or less countered to some extent by defending at the turret. If you sit here at your turret, you have a really good chance of just defending there. But one problem for these guys, for CLG, is that once a turret hits a champion, it won't get up off that champion. So someone like Garen, who has 200 armor, who has 200 armor, has the ability to take even more damage with the activate on his W ability. Oh, they found Hawkshot. They've got to be a little bit careful. Oh, nice blood pool there, doing a lot of damage. And Garen now getting around the flank, and Hawkshot will get dropped down. Nice job by Salsa. That is positioning right there. He got caught in the open trying to farm that bottom lane. He was trying to go down. He was like, oh, look, some tasty minions. He got freaking owned for it. And that was just like, you're bad, dude. They're going to group now here with this giant minion wave that's going to help them push this turret, because Dan has such huge range. He's going to come up here and poke this turret from like this line right here, and he's going to be like, oh, let me hit this turret from complete safety. And you can see CLG completely giving it up. They're going to camp up here at the next turret and say, you know, you got this, I feel you. We're going to wait for Hotshot to respawn because we kind of need him. So very good stuff here. They're coming up now onto this turret, and they will go for it. Dan Din turning on rapid fire, and just so much damage on this turret through the Janna shield, and pow, that goes down. So they are now onto the inhibitor. This could be the winning push for Epic Gaming. Again, that one positioning kill, and there's the push. So the inhibitor has gone down. They're now spawning super minions, which means that now at the 46-minute mark, when the next wave of minions spawn, we'll see a really big like cannonball arm super creep coming around, which takes reduced damage from turrets, does like 200 damage a swing, has like 4k health, is like, I'm gonna push, dog, and you're gonna die to it.
Yeah, you don't want to run into this.
Yeah, he's pretty dangerous. So that's gonna spawn with every wave. So we see this wave spawn, right? 3 ranged mobs, 3 melee mobs, and the super creep. 190 damage. Not much armor to speak of, but 4,500 health, and takes half damage from turrets. Oh, so Epic makes a mistake letting top push itself just in the minions. As the game goes on, these minions do power up, and they start overpowering turrets themselves. So you'll see these lanes kind of push themselves and make players make these choices of, oh, well, do I farm this? Do I defend? Oh, are we going to give up Dragon for it? And so a lot of these choices start, ramping up as the game goes on, because just stuff starts happening to you.
And how often is the Baron spawn again?
The Baron is an 8-minute respawn timer.
Okay.
So at I believe the buff lasts about 5 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes, and so as this times out, we'll see 3 minutes until Baron comes back up. So we can kind of just watch Hararagi or Dan Din, and when that dissipates, we'll know, okay, in about 3 minutes, it's going to be crazy again. But they're going to keep pushing though, with Baron buff, with Guardian Angel on Nunu, with crazy damage on Dan. Right? He's got his elixir, he's got his green elixir going, which gives him attack speed and critical chance. So he's hitting like a truck just repeatedly, and they really could initiate probably on this turret. But again, that Amumu ultimate is going to pin them to it, and it's going to be very, very dangerous. So they're going to back up for now. But they really do have like such a really awesome team comp, because they have these really sweet like R button ultimates where you're just like, I press this button and channel and dudes die. They have 2 really beefy tanks in front. They have a really good support. Janna's really holding their team together. You wouldn't think it, because like, oh, it's Johnny, yeah, she's pretty good, but like she's holding these fights together. She's shielding Dan for bonus damage. She's popping her ultimate when they need to sort of reset the battle. She's slowing enemies down, crowd controlling them with her tornado. Like, she does a lot in these fights. She's really holding them together, and she's an awesome support team. They picked her very early on because they knew they wanted Janna. They just could have late picked Tristana. It's just like this great, awesome carry who's very, very safe and does scale really well with items. So Epic really playing a better game later on. Early on, they lost these dragon fights constantly. They really didn't have the ability to fight dragon very well. I think actually the bottom lane was probably better for CLG, and even losing that Baron early on, but late game they've just had such a really cohesive team comp that they have these really awesome hard carries with Tristana, with Vladimir as well, being such an exceptional caster. Now 191 magic resist, just will not take damage to anyone but Ashe. And I think that's what happened last fight, where Vladimir was the one guy who died, which is Ashe going for it repeatedly.
So now that we've got these minions in the base of CLG, I mean, at this point, are you looking like, game over? Because they got to deal with the minions. They can't really deal with the field at all, because the minions could just destroy it.
Absolutely, yeah. So getting an inhibitor has like some good and bad benefits. So right now, the lane will always push. So this lane will always be in their base. So CLG will always be able to farm it. And of course, it takes a while. This thing is just not dying, right? And it keeps them in their base, but they have basically that lane is free for farming for the next 5 minutes until an inhibitor respawns, and it just is there, and it is your little pet gold farm, which is awesome. You can get a carry farmed up really late game. If you screw up and you lose the inhib, you're like, well, we can farm it up and maybe be okay. But because you're stuck in your base like that, these objectives like Baron or like Dragon or even other